What's up, everybody? Another wonderful Monday night of Chewing the BBQ Fat. Holy smokes, do we have a show going on for you guys? I told you I was going to try to make some changes this year, and we are starting to make some changes. I've noticed in the past, trying to get the winners, seems to be a lot of the same winners over and over again, so trying not to interview the same people every week. And also, you can watch it on another show. So what we decided to do is get the best of the best in the industry in what we do and just talk about different categories. And I am so excited about tonight's show because it's going to be great. So if you will, like the page, share this to anybody and everybody. I'm going to give you a few seconds to share it, get it out there, and let's get going. What's up, Matt? How you doing, buddy? Number one commenter, number one guy there on our Chewin the BBQ Fat show. So real quick, barbecue happened all over the place this weekend. Jordan, Jakey Leg, killing it. I mean, I'll tell you what, the guys lapping the field out there. We Will Rock You had another big day. I think that's a bunch of good things going on and awesome. And I'm sorry, I just completely lost my train of thought. So anyway, we are going to talk about chicken tonight, and it's going to be a great show. And where I'm going with this is I think there's been some changes in what's being turned in. So I want to talk about it tonight, just see what everybody's thinking. But before I do that, Ellen wanted me to let you know that we have the Wizard Glazes in stock. We have the Caddies are back in stock. We have Cosmos. We actually have the Cosmos Butter Pecan Rub. We have some of that, a limited supply of that in stock on the website. But most importantly, you can sign up for the Atlanta Barbecue Store Classic. Right now, it's live. Sign up. Love to have you. We hope to have a just as big, if not bigger, contest this year than we did last year, and it was a blast last year. So sign up. Let's get started. Let's have a great time. Anyway, congratulations, Kerry. I told him he's on top by himself this weekend. Good job. All right, what's happening? Evening, good night, good to see you. What's up, Brett? What's up, Tommy? How y'all doing? Great to see everybody. Looking forward to a great show. Butter pecan, yes, Wes, we got the butter pecan Cosmos. What's up? Carrie's trimming chicken. Awesome. All right, let's get started. Okay, so what we're gonna do tonight, I would love for questions from you all, but I'm gonna ask these guys what to do, what they're doing, and what's going on. So we're gonna get started. We got Drew Davis. How you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Bill Hayen. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Eddie, how you doing?
Hey, buddy. How are you, man?
Awesome. And Robert, what's going on?
How you doing, bud?
Just wonderful. I mean, I'm telling you guys, I've been looking forward to a show like this for a long time. Just waiting for the right time to get it going. And for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be talking categories and meat and everything else. There you go, Wes. Hey, look, who knows what's going to come out of tonight's show? I'm not going to ask anything. Whatever these guys want to give out, we'll give out. But I'm going to do my best to get out a golden nugget for y'all. If not, sorry. All right, so chicken. What is going on with chicken these days? Drew, I'll let you start. What do you think happened in the chicken world?
Well, for me, it's been a lot of change this year. I've had 4 contests. I've ran thighs, leg, wings, and thighs again. So it's been just constant change.
Nice. Bill?
We've been just running thighs and wings.
Thighs and wings. Nice.
Robert?
Together. Yeah.
Okay. Robert?
We just been running thighs. We did wings at the Jack, but that's about it.
And Smitty, the pioneer of this whole conversation going on tonight, in my mind.
That's kind of crazy. I guess the last couple years I've been running just wing flats. And before that, I was running wings and thighs as well. I ran legs for a couple years as well. But the very first time I turned in wings it actually was an inspiration from Matt Dalton from Left Coast Q. He showed me one of his boxes at a comp out here in West Coast, and this was, oh man, this could have been 2013. And I thought it was the most beautiful box I've ever seen in my life. And I told him right to his face, I said, I'm going to take that box. And he said, bro, do it, run with it. And I turned it in at the American Royal in 2014. And that was a first place chicken in the invitation with a perfect 180. And that's the first time I turned in a wing and a thigh box. And it kind of just went from there. And we went through stages of being good, knowing that, oh, yeah, the judges like this, to, oh, man, they're not judging it right. I'm not going to do it again. And I flipped some legs, and now I'm just turning all wings. But to me, chicken's one of those categories that you can play around with a lot. You got options there. So I like to keep it interesting, keep it fresh.
Yeah. And before you get going any further, I did a terrible job once again of introducing everybody. So why don't you go ahead and let everybody know who you are, where you're from, especially because I think that's something important tonight. Just tell everybody where you're from and all that kind of good stuff.
All right. Well, I'll kick it off. I'm Drew Davis with Razor X Barbecue. I'm out of the big town of Pleasant Plains, Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Bill Hine, Triple H Barbecue, Gillespie, Illinois.
Illinois.
I'm Sterling.
Oh, sorry, Sterling. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Robert.
Robert Vanderwright with Smoke Me Silly out of Madison, Alabama.
I'm Sterling Smith from Luton Booty Barbecue, beautiful, sunny Scottsdale, Arizona.
Scottsdale. So if you've noticed, we've got people from all over the country here. I wanted to get a little bit of broad range and get everybody together and what's going on. And Matt, Blinky, I'm going to ask that question a little bit because I think that's a great question. It's something that I've been interested in. But I'll ask that question a little bit. So why you're the one so far that has only turned in wings or flats, whatever we're calling it, as at the Jack? Why have you decided to not turn in wings in contest if they're that good?
Is that for me? Did you ask me that? Sorry, I missed that.
I'm sorry.
So I don't know. I'm just used to with cooking 4 categories. I'm just used to cooking thighs. I've changed up my cooking process, but we're just cooking thighs. I mean, the wings from the Jack, I love them, but I don't know, just like a lot of burn ends and point and flat, right? Nobody's turning in burnt ends. Everybody just continues to turn in flat, right? Mostly.
Who's not turning in burn ends?
Most people aren't. You probably are, but I know I'm not. But
money muscle,
for that same reason,
muscle.
Yeah, I mean that's Smitty. That's exactly what I was going to say. You're seeing now with pork is becoming a money muscle.
It's a money muscle competition.
Yeah. And I well, that's a pork show. We'll talk about that in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But what, Drew? You said that you saw Smitty, and that's what made you want to start doing the wing boxes.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like Robert. I've been lucky to go to the Jack, I think 3 times, and there you got to turn in white meat. And each time I've done wings, or the first time I might have done breast, but needless to say that didn't turn out well. But the last time I went to the Jack in 21, I think we got like a 4th place chicken call there and was ecstatic. So that whole next year, I loved the wing and thigh box, and I ran probably wing and thighs 90% of the contest that year. And probably turned in wings every time I cooked them. And then this last year, my daughter's getting a little older, getting a little busier with things outside of barbecue. So I'm going to try to simplify it. In weeks when I'm busy, man, it's so easy to cook wings and so much less work.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm just the guy that does a barbecue show. I don't cook very often.
Barbecue show and GCs a couple weeks ago.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
humble brag.
So I don't know how to cook wings. Like what I mean, I know how to cook wings, but what is it about a wing that is just taking over so far right now? What is it about that wing, that bite of a wing, that is just taking over the chicken world? Bill, I'll let you answer that one.
I think it's kind of something different the judges ain't seeing every day. I mean, there's very few people running them, at least at the moment, and they're getting more and more all the time. But I think for me, which I started cooking them to go cook the Jack, and figured out a process that I cook them side by side with my thighs. The timeline's the same. They're on the same drum. So it works out well for me, but that's why I just keep cooking them, every time. But, I think it's kind of like putting burnt ends in the box. We're talking about brisket. If they're really good and they're only going to add to your score, they, now on the other hand, they can take away. You put in a crappy wing with some good thighs, you should have left them out, But to me, it just shows range and flexibility.
Like that. What is a perfect wing bite? What do you think it should taste like, Smitty?
Man, well, I mean, competition barbecue is different than what I think a perfect wing bite is. But what I think it is for the judges is it's clean and easy, and it's just like any other bite that they take. It's going to be tender. It's going to be it doesn't make the judges think about it. And like I said, it's easy to eat. When I'm turning in all my stuff, when I do a lot of my comp classes, I tell a lot of my students is make the judges or make it easy for them to eat your food. You don't want them to think about it. You don't want them to take an extra step of how do I eat this. So I do a step with my wings that I make it easy for them to eat my food. And then I think it just in competition world, it's all about tenderness. So it should be soft, it should be nice and soft with a good bite. Comes right off the bone. Like I said, it's just good barbecue. And they score a 9 and they go on to the next one. And then that's it. That's what it should be.
Nice. Awesome. All right. So, Bill, you made a comment that you do thighs and wings because it's in the process. It's the same process. Why are we not seeing legs and wings in contest?
I've practiced with some legs and messed around with them, but never was very good at them. So I never could make them look nice. You could make them taste great, but they look like hell. So I just quit messing with legs. Thighs were too good, and I've not looked back on the legs. But
I know a team who ran them. I know a team who ran them on the West Coast last comp and did very well. And my jack box this past year was one leg with 8 wings on each side, like it was flying, and it got demolished.
But look,
solid 172, like 39.
Oh, that's awesome. And Robert, why do you not cook legs?
We actually tried legs years ago, but like he said, it was just easier to do thighs. We had the process down already. We tried it a few times, didn't work, so just moved on.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, because I've said all along, I think a perfectly cooked leg is going to win, has a really good chance of winning a contest over a perfectly cooked thigh. But at the end of the day, personally, I believe that a thigh, and this is just me, a thigh has more room for error. A very good cooked thigh can score you in the top 10 and not kill you in a contest. So what do y'all, Drew, what do you think about that?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you. I think I can go to any contest and win with either of those 3 cuts. But with a thigh, I know that if I overshoot it, you ain't going to have the blowouts that a leg has. So I'm probably the most paranoid when I'm cooking legs. I'm checking them, making sure if I see one blowout, I'm pulling them all off and trying to have as many options as I have. The thighs, if I'm teaching anyone to start off cooking competition barbecue, I'm going to tell them go thighs first.
That's what I do. To me, thighs are easy.
Yeah.
What is all right, so Robert, you're down in the Southeast. Drew, you and Bill are kind of middle, and then Smitty, you're West Coast. What do you see in flavor profiles in chicken? Is flavor profiles different around? Or, I mean, I know they're the same answers. I cook the same thing everywhere I go. I got it. But what do you see in the flavor profile for chicken?
Probably the same thing. Just a sweet with a little back end heat. I'm just trying to make something as balanced and middle of the road as possible.
Yeah, I agree. And when I've done this for for a while now, and I'm in the Southwest. Everything I turn into the judges now here in the Southwest is gonna have a little bit more of that little back end heat. As I move east, I tend to pare down that heat and go a little bit more sweet. Just because I think that's what the judges expect out here in the West is a tiny bit of heat. And it's not like Drew said, it's not like a overwhelming heat. It's good balanced heat, but you're gonna know it's there. So I think I have kept that same sauce profile since I pretty much started competing. The sauces may have changed a little bit here and there, but that profile is really the same. I mean, to me, we're cooking in a KCB. Most of what I do is, and most of what these guys do is KCBS, Kansas City Barbecue Society. I think the judges expect sauce. They expect it to be Kansas City, a little bit of sweet with balance. We all heard that. We've heard the judges like in their head. I mean, how many shows have said it's about balance and flavor profile and sweet heat? They're accustomed to that. So to me, it's give them what they expect. So I'm going to give them what they expect with making it tender as possible. And that's with any cut you do, or chicken's the same exact way, whether it's a wing, a thigh, a leg, a breast, good luck with that. But make it tender and moist. But I really only change when I go east, and really it's just about that back end heat a little bit, but everything's going to be that same sweet, lead with that sweet, balanced, nice profile.
That's awesome. All right. I've had a lot of questions that I haven't got to, so I got to get to it. Do you feel wings would hit everywhere, or are they just regional? Y'all are all over the country, so I'd say everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, a good barbecue wins no matter where it's at, and a good piece of meat wins. Whether it's a good wing or a shitty wing, it's about cooking it right, and it's about presenting it right and making it easy for the judges. So I think they can win no matter where they go. You just got to have somebody cooking them right and presenting them right. It's not about the cut of meat. I think it's the way you cook it.
Yeah, good food's good food. It wins no matter where you go.
True.
Love it.
I've never been guys that has like flown in and cooked yet. I've wanted to do that, but I love knowing like I can find wings anywhere, and no trim. There's virtually no trim. And
easy.
So I can go to any grocery store from Washington to Florida, and I can find some wings. And if I got a can, I can cook them on there, and I don't have to worry about that hassle of all that excess work that those other two have.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge point. And I cook a lot by myself. When my wife can go, that's great. But a lot of times I'm by myself. So to me, I can manage wings in my process, which is quick and easy and efficient. I work on a lot of efficiencies in my cook. I know the flavor profile and all that. I try to make it leaner and meaner every time I go. I'm like Six Sigma in this motherfucker. But, I really work on that in my process. And to me, I can throw wings in there in my process easy if they cook them right. I know the steps and I execute. They're just like any other meat. I want a good base hit, but I think if you do them right, they can stand with any other cut.
Love it. What kind of chicken do y'all cook? Did you mention
poultry?
Poultry.
Wagyu.
Bill, what kind of chicken are you cooking, or does it matter?
I'm cooking Springer most of the time, but whatever I can find.
I cook. So I have a local grocery store here called Fry's, and they have a Heritage Farms breed, and the Heritage Farms breed has been pre-injected with about 15% carrageen, which is a thickening agent, salt solution, and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like the Smithfield of chicken. I love it. I get the whole wings and I cut out the flats myself, but they're already pre-injected. They're already pre-done. So that's one step I ain't got to do. I told you about being lean and mean and efficient. If I can have the manufacturer do it already for me, that's one less thing I got to do. And I'm going to brighten them now. I just got to pop them with a little bit of injection. It's called Heritage Farms.
Yeah, I think we have that. I think we have that here in Kroger down the way.
Yeah, they're Kroger branded.
I think they carry that same brand.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my
go-to. I used to cook those thighs, and I remember they already had some kind of solution in them. So
yeah, they're already done. They're already done for you, man.
All right, I'm
Make it easy.
Yeah, I'm cooking like a whole chicken, and I'm going for that overly enhanced. Step have to do it. Out. I'm a little more OCD when it comes to contests. I'm going to get something not been enhanced, but Smitty's not saying anything wrong there. He's just taking one step out. But I like to have something that I can control and know what exactly I'm doing to it every time. I'm 90% of the time smart chicken. I've cooked a little Sanderson Farms that's a non-enhanced bird as well, but it's just knowing that I've got something that hasn't been touched yet. I'm going to add that part to it, but there's nothing wrong with going with that enhanced bird.
I think it's about when I tell people in classes this all the time. It's not trying to track down what everybody else is using. Go to your local grocery store and see what you have available. Yeah. Go and see, because that's going to be available. You know, if you really want to do this and really want to be a comp guy and go out and chase these plastic trophies, I mean, I love it. Me too. But I don't want to have to be reliant on some sort of chicken that I have to ship in or go find at this grocery. I want to know that I can go to my grocery store and pick up something off the shelf and win with anybody else. You know what I'm saying?
And that way you're
getting, and that's what I do with the, I cook Springer, but I can get it at my local grocery store. So
yeah,
I don't,
it's easy
for
for
you.
You.
Get anything special in. I just show up on Tuesday and go through what they got. Yep. And, whatever.
And if you're trimming and you're like, oh, this batch shit, guess what you can do? Run up to your grocery store, grab another pack. Easy.
You betcha.
Yeah, I've been there many times.
That's awesome. What do you think, Robert?
Yeah, I use Springer Mountain Farms as well, and I get it from a local grocery store. I get it in by the case and go through it.
There you go. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting caught up in all these questions over here, all the comments, and y'all are doing awesome. Somebody asked, I don't know where it was, but are you running the same flavor profile on your ledger drums as you do the wings?
Exactly.
And then it is only the wing flats, right? We're not talking about the drums. We're just talking about the flats, correct?
That's what I cook. I tend to cook the flats only. To me, that's the best part of the wing. That's the one that I can control. It's a better bite. So absolutely, my sauce, my rub, my seasoning, my process is the same exact thing as thighs, legs, and wings. Pretty much exactly the same. Cook time may vary a little bit, but everything's pretty much exactly the same.
Awesome. So Chris Main says that he feels.
What about everybody else, though? I want to know what these guys want. What about you guys?
Exact same rub seasoning. The only thing I may do is I'm not going to brine a wing, but I might brine the other two, or I might not, but I'm going to inject everything.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the exact same. I run everything the same except for I don't brine the wings. So where I brine my thighs.
Robert, you're just cooking thighs, so you're just doing everything at the same time.
Yeah, when I did the jack though, I seasoned this exact same.
Yeah.
I inject thighs, but I didn't inject the wings. I did brine them though.
Yeah. I do pork and ribs pretty much exactly the same. It's all chicken. It's all pork. It's all the same.
So it sounds to me as if you're cooking thighs and I'm just hearing things. Y'all all brine and inject your thighs.
Most of the time, or some of the time, I don't know. It's whatever I'm doing. Whatever I've done. I've only injected for a long, long time. I brined when I first started, and I've gotten back into brining here in the last year.
Okay.
Bill, what about you?
Me, I brine and inject my thighs.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So if I'm using that Heritage Farms chicken, and I've used their thighs many times, and I've used their legs. I really like their legs. I don't brine, but I will inject. To me, they're already injected. They already have. I don't need to keep pounding that meat. Sometimes it tends to get mushy if I've done too much to it. So I will right before in the morning, and I don't let the injections sit in a lot. I really pop it in the morning after I get brisket on, pork's going. I have a little bit of time there where I can build a box and chill out and pop chicken real quick. So I'll inject it in the morning, usually on Saturday morning. But if I'm traveling and I fly in a lot and I can't find my chicken, then I'll usually give it a quick brine on Friday night and then pop it again in the morning. But it's about the product I'm using.
Can I just say one thing about brining? I hate hearing that it makes your meat moist. Brining doesn't add any moisture to your meat. It doesn't. If anything, it releases the moisture that's already in there. It's going to make it taste better. But all you're doing is tenderizing when you're brining. It's been a pet peeve of mine for a long time. brining has no effect on moisture.
Awesome. I'm sorry. Drew, if you could scoot to the left, you'll be away from the tower. I'm sorry. Brian Payton said he'll fix your Wi-Fi in exchange for barbecue lessons. This is awesome. All right. Chris Main said that he feels that legs are the future of barbecue. I'm just going to talk for a second. I feel like legs have made a strong appearance and they're kind of backing back out a little bit. I think you're seeing more of the wings take over from the legs, but that's just me. What do y'all see on that?
I see, if you've done this for a while now, you see trends, and you're always going to see trends. There was burn-in trends, and now there's no burn-in trend. You know, there's leg and thigh, thigh and wing trend. A lot of people are doing that for a while. Then a lot of people start doing legs, and now you see wings. So there's a trend in all this if you watch it. And I think, legs are great, and it could be the next thing, but I guarantee you, right behind that, breasts, some weird like remoulade breast, maybe some cool thing that people are doing because they're getting outside of that barbecue world. You know what I'm saying? It's trendy. What we do is trendy. Flavors are trendy. Turn-in styles are trendy. Like we were talking about this earlier, the money muscles. Everybody would we went into all money muscles, and it's a money muscle competition, which is great. To me, I love it. I'm a one-man comp. I'm a one-man team a lot. If I could just cook 3 money muscles right and turn it in the box and present it, make it tender, man, let's sign me up. Because to me, it's competition. We're in a competition. This isn't catering. This ain't cooking barbecue in your backyard for your friends. We're in a competition here. So make it easy for me. Yeah, I love it. But it may be. Maybe it's not. But it's going to be trendy, and I guarantee you, in the next several years, if this keeps going on, wings will be back and all this other stuff. Some crazy debone voodoo thigh, maybe that everybody's doing on Instagram, may be cool. But I think it's about trends, and everybody's just kind of following and trying to think outside the box just a tiny bit.
Awesome. All right, but change directions just a little bit on y'all. What are y'all cooking on, or what are y'all cooking chicken on, per se? Robert?
Yeah, I cook chicken thighs on a Weber Smoky Mountain. I have been since 2010. So obviously, I'm one of the safer people here, where I've been sticking with thighs the whole time. But when I did cook wings at the Jack, I actually cooked them on a small pellet grill, and they turned out really good. Very happy with them.
Have you ever cooked them on your offset?
You're muted.
Damn it.
Sorry, chicken?
Not you, Drew. Yeah.
I've never cooked thighs on the offset, but I do when we sauce. I'll set sauce on the offset. But other than that, they're cooked on the WSM. I don't have enough room anyway.
Gotcha. Drew, what you cooking on?
So most of the time on a Jambo or offset. I've done a couple contests in the last couple of years on drums again, and I've cooked on old hickories in the past. Cooked on, I think but right now I'm going to be bouncing back with drums.
Awesome. Bill?
Gateway drum.
Smitty?
I go back and forth between a Green Mountain Grill and a Gateway drum. I cook on both in a comp, and it depends on my mood. If I want to crank the heat up really quick and rip and grip these wings and get them done in half an hour, I can do that. Or if I have time in there, I don't mind throwing them on my GMG and letting them ride a little bit longer at about 300 instead of 425. So it depends on my mood and the time and a lot of how many drinks I've had at that moment.
I'm going to stop right here and back up just a second. I heard 425 degrees. Is that a normal temperature that we're all cooking chicken at? Bill?
Maybe 428.
Bill, are you a 400 guy?
Maybe for a short amount of time.
Okay. Drew?
No, nowhere close.
Okay. Robert?
No, I'm running 300 the whole time.
Okay. All right. I'm starting to see why I'm in left field and chicken and everything else. 425, low and slow. I love it.
Yeah. This is competition barbecue. Ain't low and slow.
So what do you? How long is your chicken process? Whoever wants to go first. Bill, how long is it your chicken process?
From the time they go on the drum to the time they get turned in is right at an hour. No, 2 hours. Excuse me.
Yeah, I was
2
about to
hours.
say, you're cooking at 425.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm at 2 hours.
Okay. No, I didn't say he's wrong, Jordan. I didn't say he's wrong.
Nobody's wrong.
I've said that I'm wrong. I'm doing it wrong. Drew, what about you?
I'm somewhere around hour 40 to hour 50 minutes.
Okay, Robert.
Yeah, I think we're about the 2 hour mark as well.
Okay, and then Smitty.
Yeah, it depends on what I'm cooking on. If I'm cooking on a GMG, I can get these ripped out in an hour and 45 minutes, quick and easy. But if I'm on a drum, I'm probably an hour. I usually give myself 1 hour start to finish, to give myself time in there. And there's a little bit of time in there to make a latte, but you got to build that in, especially before turn-ins.
Yeah, and there was a random question for you, Smitty. Somebody went to their local Ace Hardware and bought Loot and Booty Everything Rub. And what can they put Loot and Booty on Everything Rub on?
Here's a tip. It says on the label.
That has literally been the response. I think like 6 or 7 responses of everything from pretty much everybody has said it's good on everything.
That seasoning was actually made for pork. It's my pork rub from the American Royal 2014 line that I was involved in. So I use it actually on pork and ribs because it's sugar forward instead of salt forward. But I actually wanted to sell more of that rub. So instead of calling it pork rub, I said everything rub. So when people stare at that wall and look at all these seasonings, like, you know what? This one says everything. I want to grab that one. So it's more of a marketing thing more than anything else in the world. It's paid off pretty good.
I love it.
It's my go-to for eggs in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely everything. Well, I love it on bacon. It lends very well to pork. But to me, I created that seasoning to taste like Lay's barbecue potato chips. So if you taste everything rub and put it in your mouth and you think of Lay's barbecue potato chips, that's exactly what it is.
Perfect.
But better.
So talking about rubs. I'm glad y'all brought up rubs and started talking about that and flavor profiles. What would you have to say? And I don't want to know your recipes. I'm not asking for recipes.
Gold Star chicken rub, tons of it. I'll tell you right now. On my chicken, Gold Star chicken rub. You can ask me. Yeah, absolutely. Gold Star chicken rub, and I use it directly out of the bottle, right on my chicken, both sides, start to finish. And I season it about 3 times in the process.
So, what is it about the Gold Star chicken rub? What are the flavor profiles of that you like so much for chicken?
It's salt forward. It's the granulated garlic, onion. I have a little bit of citric powder in there, which I love with poultry. I love it with seafood as well. And it's got a little back end kick. I think seafood, poultry, all that, which are very light, proteins need waking up. And to me, when you have that salty, herby, a little bit of citric, and you got some back end heat, it all works together with poultry. And that seasoning has done me very well in not only competition barbecue, but just, turkeys, seafood, anything that has that light flavor profile. And I actually messed up at the 2015 Jack Daniels. And it was really early in the morning, after you'd been drinking all that Jack and you're seasoning your pork. I actually seasoned it with Gold Star chicken rub. And we won first place in pork that year. So Gold Star chicken rub has been my pork seasoning from ever since then. On pork shoulder, not only chicken. So that's a little hint for you there too.
Love it. Somebody else? What do you look? What flavor or what are you trying to get out of your rubs when you're putting on chicken, Drew?
So I'm a little different. I try to avoid salt, or not avoid salt. I'm as heavy salted as there is with the other 3 proteins, but with chicken, I want to be as low salt as possible. So I'm a big fan of Fire Dancer, his chicken rub, and then I like to finish it off with a little bit of my all day sweet. They're both they're not heavy.
Say that again. Tell me the rub again.
Fire Dancer chicken rub, and then my all day sweet.
All days where you can get at?
Atlanta barbecue store. No place better, but I'm looking for just a good balance. That Fire Dancer rub has all the little nuances that make a great chicken rub, just like Smitty's Gold Star chicken rub. I bet if you put them side by side, you'd have a hard time picking your favorite out of those two. And then with my rub, I've got a brand myself, and I like my little nuances. I've got a lot of turbinado sugar in there, a little bit of citrus, and I've got some secret stuff in there that I can't necessarily say right now. But if you want to try some, get some.
Awesome. Bill?
White label.
And once again, I'm not guys, I'm telling you, we have the best guests in the world. They come on, they give out information. You hear me asking over and over again. You don't have to tell me what you're doing. I'm trying to get the flavor profiles out of this. So go ahead, Bill.
Well, I mean, we're working kind of a sweet with a back heat, just like we talked about earlier. I mean, white labels probably is one of the rubs we use. We use a combination of three, but I don't know if I want to give all that away.
Is Andrea behind the screen? Is she?
No, but she commented on here, so I know she's watching.
Loose lips sink ships.
She keeps texting him. I'm looking at him. He's like, "Oh, okay, I got to stop." Oh, okay. I said, "We see what's happening over there, Andrew." So you have multiple rubs that you're using. You're using at least 3 different rubs.
Yeah, I mean, we're blending them together to make one and shake it on as one rub, but.
Pete Idiot.
That's awesome. And Robert, Brian Payton said she's about to unplug your router. Robert, you just muted it again. You're muted. You muted. You're muted. Robert, there we go. Now you're back.
I'm horrible. Sorry.
There you go.
It's like you've never done the show before. You know,
I mean, it's the first time for me. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm just looking for a rub that complements the chicken. And I will say that I use the Gold Star is definitely one of the ones that I use, along with a couple others that might have a little bit more sweetness to them, but not much. I go pretty light on my rubs anyway, so.
It's awesome. Old man problems, Wes Garrett said. You know, you don't have to be muted all the time, Robert. It's okay. You know, you're confusing yourself with all the good stuff. All right, so I'm gonna guys, if y'all have any questions that you want me to ask them, go ahead and put it on here now, and I will ask them. So these questions in here coming up will be from y'all. But all right, so I'm very proud of the guests that we have on tonight. Y'all are all incredible cooks, doing awesome things. Is there anything that you want to ask each other while I wait on some questions from the audience?
Oh man, how's the weather where you guys live?
Cold.
It's nice.
Not as nice as you, obviously. So I'll ask you a question. So how many wings are you putting in that box, Smitty?
Oh man, the chicken will tell me usually, but my end goal, I want to put 12 in there. I would like my vision. I have a vision of every box, you know, before it happens. But and I tell this a lot in comps is the meat's going to tell me how it wants to be in the box. After I slice it, after I cook it, you know, it'll tell you. It's like a barbecue Rain Man in there. Something's gonna. It's like who knows what's going to happen? It like just comes out. But to me, a lot of when I look at the meat on the table, when I see what's there, and I see what I have to work with, that will tell me how it wants to be in the box. I don't know if that sounds kind of weird or kind of out there a little bit, but
not at all.
I give what the meat tells me, and I'll present it right. But I want to get 12 if I can.
Are you usually doing that circular presentation that I've seen you do?
The last several times. So the last comps, my last comp was Melbourne Meat Stock, which I love that going there. And I threw the wings at them. And I know I shouldn't have because they like to see really full boxes. It's not about, you know, the tenderness. It's different judging. And I should have known, you know, give them what they want and what they expect. I should have filled it up a little bit more. But I threw some wings at them. And I did get a call. I think I got a top 10. But before that, I ran them in Yuma. I ran them in Bullhead City too. Man, I ran them at the Royal. I ran them at the Jack with one leg. So I have been running them for the last season, and my next comp I'll probably run them as well. I mean, to me, like you said you're going to run thighs because if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? And I'm a big believer in that, but I love breaking stuff. You know, I'll run it till it breaks, and then let's try something else, see what happens. Makes sense.
Bill, do you listen to the chicken, or do you have something that you're looking for?
I mean, it just depends on what we end up going with. If we're going with six wings and 6 thighs, then we'll do the thighs down each side and the wings kind of crisscross through the middle. I'm sure those boxes have been on, mine or other people's online. And I think I got it off one of Smitty's boxes actually. It looked good, and so we tried it and it worked. But
yeah, absolutely, I love that.
And if the wings weren't good or whatever, we'll run. We might run 7 thighs in a box, or I very seldom put just 6 pieces. So
yeah.
All right, so I got some questions. Anybody else have anything? Drew, do you have anything you want to talk?
Yeah, you do, Joe.
Hey, Bill, how many times have you cooked and not turned them in?
How many times have you cooked wings and not turned them in?
None.
All right, that's it. They're that easy.
That's telling. That's telling. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
I mean, they've always been so good. There's been times I've been really tempted to run just the wings, but I'm just not that brave quite yet. I will one of these days.
Yeah.
I really want to do a 1 meat, chicken thing instead of a rib bird, so I could run them there just to see how they go and
test the waters.
Test the waters,
yeah,
exactly.
I love testing waters.
All right, so I got some questions real quick. And how long do y'all brine? Y'all all talked about brining. How long is your brine process?
Mine's 3 to 4 hours, depending on which cut.
Okay.
4 hours, 59 minutes.
Okay.
I inject mine, and they're straight in the brine for 5 hours.
Okay.
When I use the Heritage Farm, I don't brine. I just inject, and I usually have them sit in the injection. I don't know. They're probably in there for an hour and some change. But when I do brine the next day, I usually do a quick brine, and I do about 2 hours and 15 minutes is my go-to. And then I'll pop them with injection the next morning.
Okay, so we've talked about rubs. What about sauce? I'm pretty sure we all sauce. What are you trying to get out of your sauce? I know it's just an extra layer, but what's a good sauce?
Now that's the question right there. I'm trying to get first place. That's what I'm trying to get. Honestly, if we're being real, Blues Hog is the base of what I'm going to use, and then I'm going to doctor it up. I've been liking a lot of the Head Country stuff. I use my sauce there mixed in, and I look for I look for the nape of the sauce. So I like to thin out, and I'm really big with Martinelli's apple juice. It's one of my favorite apple juices. I like to use that to thin it out based off of how it goes on the back of a spoon, how it looks, how it's going to set, the viscosity of it, and how it's going to look on my meat. So I like to thin it accordingly. But I think the base of it's going to be what the judges expect. They expect some Kansas City sweet style. So with a little bit of heat. So I'm going to throw some Blues Hog at them, mix with some other stuff, and balance it out with some apple juice, pretty much. There may be a couple things in there, but we talked about those later at the Moon Tower.
Sounds good. Robert?
Like he said, you go with a Blues Hog and maybe a Craig's mix, you're good to go.
Okay. Drew? Bill?
Same thing that they said. I've had a chicken sauce for most of my career. There's been a lot of just Blues Hog, original Tennessee Red, and then recently I've kind of switched over, trying to run the same sauce on ribs, chicken, and pork, and it's got a little more of what Robert said in it.
There you go.
Our base is Blues Hog.
Love it. All right, good. Thank you. Do you really think about flavor profiles, or are you just trying to figure out what tastes good and isn't offensive to most people?
I think those things are kind of the same thing, but just worded different.
Okay, good.
That's what I was going to say. That's the same thing in my book.
I was thinking,
Yeah.
Brian, I got to feel like I answer some of these questions for everybody.
Yeah, I think at this point in some of our careers is, I mean, we know what the flavor profile is. We know what tenderness we got to hit. So we're about executing, and if we execute that tenderness and we give them that flavor profile that they expect, that we've been giving them with our twist on it, with our love into it, what happens in that last 5-10 minutes before you put it in the box, that's kind of makes it break you right there. But I think we're all kind of running the same thing with our twist and our spin and our creativity on it.
Yeah.
But it's all going to be non-offensive, good barbecue. It's tender.
Love it.
Yep.
All right. I have to ask Jordan's question. He thinks that I'm skipping his questions. I would never skip any of Jordan's. I mean, the guy at Janky Leg is killing it right now. How could I not talk about Jordan, right?
He doesn't need any more info.
It says, do you feel like a salty note is offensive on chicken?
No, I don't at all. To me, I love salt. I think, to me, when I look at the judges, they're all, and I don't want to offend anybody, but a lot of them are all white guys. And as you get older, you lose taste buds. And I think a lot of people need that little bit of punch in the mouth. And I call it in comp barbecue, give them a little punch in the mouth. So to me, that salt's going to be my leading factor because that opens salivary glands. And then you got a little heat on the end and it balances out together. So I love leading with a salty note. That's kind of my go-to. That's just me, though.
I got nod from Robert, nod from Bill. What about you, Drew? Nod from Drew.
Same thing. I'm probably getting most of my salt from the sauce. Like if you taste any of those Blues hogs, I mean, there's going to be a lot of salt in there too.
Awesome. All right. Bill Purvis wants to know, how do you guys determine which thighs go in the box? If you are turning in thighs, how do you know which ones go in the box?
Robert.
Say that again.
How do you know which thighs to put in the box? What are you looking for in a thigh to put in the box?
They're usually a pretty good shape when I put them on in the raw state, but after they cook a while, they take on their own little shape. So I'm looking for ones that are similar in shape, ones that I think tempt out good. Usually when I sauce them, I put them sort of in an area where I know I'm going to go to those first. I know they're a good temp, they're a good shape, and that's usually where I start. I usually get my 6 from that area.
There you go. Bill, what are you thinking on your thighs?
I'm usually just looking at appearance at that point. I mean, like Robert said, shape and size, and trying to get them all to match.
Awesome. Got 2 questions, or 2 that I'm going to combine in one. This Michael Slayton's new to injecting chicken. What do you use? Commercial brine injection, flavored butter. He doesn't know. And do what?
What do you use? All right.
Yeah, and then Chris is asking, is your brine similar to the same as your injector? So what kind of brine injection are you going with? Are they same? Are they similar? Are they different? One salty, one not salty?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Great question.
Mine's pretty similar. My injection's going to be a little bit stronger, and but they're pretty similar.
So my brine, a lot saltier. It's something that I'm only soaking it in there and I'm washing it off later. But my injection, I'm going to make sure that's not overly salty. Just a good commercial product that is got.
Yeah, my brine's saltier than my injection.
I'm a man of ease and convenience, and if I don't have to do 2 things, I'm not going to. So if I'm going to brine my chicken, I'm going to use the same thing as my injection, and I'll use the same liquid because I don't want to make 2. I want to make it easy, and that's just me. I want to use the same thing, so I'll use the same exact thing as a brine and injection if I'm going to inject. If I'm going to brine.
Awesome. Okay, how do you get that glaze on your chicken?
We talked about it. Blues Hog, that's your friend.
There you go. Brad Leininger, his food is offensive to most people. That's the truth.
It is. It's terrible.
What? I don't know what SBR means from Nathan.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
Sweet Baby Ray's.
There you go.
The old school.
There you go. Stay new. I think we've discussed that. Blah blah blah. More to Drew on that, as he mentioned why he tends to. Oh, y'all are thirsty. All right, sounds good. Would y'all share? Okay, so
Beautiful
what are
day.
you looking for? How do you know your chicken's done? I've heard many people when they talk about um, legs, they're looking for blowouts or something along those lines. Um, Nobody's cooking legs, so I guess we'll just skip right over that. How do you know? Are you cooking to a temperature? Are you cooking strictly timelines? How do you know when the thighs or the wings are done?
Go ahead,
I'm
somebody.
usually when I open the pan, I'm kind of wanting to see one blow out. Honestly,
I love
if I see
blowout.
one blowed out in a pan of 6, I know I'm right there.
It's good days.
So when
I
you
mean, I
say
kind of got a temperature range that I want them in, but
you're cooking thighs, correct? Yeah. So what do
yes,
you mean by a blowout in the thigh? Just to,
like
just to,
the skin pops open on top.
okay.
So
All right.
when I see one popped, that then usually the rest of them are good. But we're pretty much on the timeline. When it's time to go, we go. So
All right. So Robert, you shook your head. Smitty, you said yes. So y'all are looking strictly timeline. You're not necessarily probing your chicken or going by.
There's so much that you can go into this, but the chicken will tell you when it's done. Just like it'll tell you things that are going to be on the table. They'll tell you what to put in. But as much as us that are sitting here have done this, we know it's done because we've done it, and
Right.
we know our timelines, and we know our grills, and we know at this time with this temperature, I'm going to probe that, and it's going to be I can guarantee you it's going to be within 2 degrees of this because we get in our backyard and we do it. And at the end of the day, you have to get in your backyard. You got to do it. You got to practice it. You got to light fires. And that's how you're going to know exactly when it's done. But I do look for a certain temperature. I do look for a certain kind of feel when I probe that chicken wing or leg or whatever it is. I kind of just feel it. And to me, I get a lot of tenderness based off that feel. But we know because we're perfectionists in what we do, and we're going to be in our backyard, and we're going to get this timeline to where we know exactly what we do at this point, and we're going to probe it, and it's going to be 206 degrees. That's the way we know we wrap it off, take it off, and go to next step.
Y'all are all shaking your heads. So y'all same thing for everybody.
Yeah. He's getting
Yeah.
a lot of cooking with your senses, whether it be smell or sight. And like for myself with wings, I'm doing a lot off of what I see with them, what they're pulling from, and with thighs, I learned a lot from the feel of them as I pick them up. I can tell a little bit of the tenderness there, and just also the heat from it. Like you said, we've all probably cooked 100 to 200, or Robert's cooked like 350. I think I looked you up on Barbecue Data a couple days ago. I was shocked how many, Robert, that you've cooked. It's impressive. He could cook a thigh in his sleep, I'm sure.
Yeah, and he could tell you at what part that it's going to be around 185 with this, just because I know. I've tested it before, and I know I don't need on to fuck with it because I need to give it 15 more minutes because it's going to be there because he's done it a million times, and that's what all of us has done is done that to get it right.
That's awesome. Bill, you got anything?
No, I mean, like I said, it's it's done when it's done, and like Smitty said, the meat will tell you when it's done.
Yeah.
Experience is the biggest thing.
100%.
I am the guys. If you're watching this and you feel like, oh crap, what am I doing wrong? And I'm with you. Like I've got to get better. I've got to cook more. I've got to just see what's going on. And I think for me, cooking in a drum, I think what made me become a better cook cooking in a drum is what they're saying is you're in the drum more often and you're looking at the product and you're seeing what's going on. And I think that's something that we miss out on a lot because everybody says if you're looking, you ain't cooking, all that kind of crap.
It's a lie.
Right. I agree 100%. That you got to know what the meat's doing. You got to see what it's doing. And that's how you can tell when something's done. I agree. But that's pretty cool. So get out and practice. And I think what Smitty said earlier makes a difference. It matters for every category you cook. Know your smoker. If you don't know your smoker, if you don't know the airflow, if you don't know what's going on, if you don't light it the same every time, if you're not doing all that kind of stuff, you're going to have different temperatures and all that kind of stuff. So know your smokers, get to know them, and get to know the airflow. But anyway, so Robert, what are the chances you're going to cook wings so we're cooking Chewin the BBQ Fat is cooking Greenwood South Festival of Discovery, right? We're cooking that in July. What are the chances that that wings might be showing up in a chicken box?
Oh, I'm doing a Smitty box there. I have no expectations.
There you go.
Love it. Roll the dice,
box
right?
with a bunch of this, right?
Oh man, that's my man right there. Send me your address. I'm gonna send you whatever you need. You're on the payroll now.
Great products. I mean, I will say great products. What's up, Vince? How you doing? So as we're wrapping up here, is there anything else that y'all, I mean, to me, I love asking questions and I love being able to get the information out from them. But like I say, is there anything else that y'all want to ask, or you got questions from the audience or whatever? Is there anything else you want to know from each other? I want to know if anybody's Drew. When are you cooking legs next?
So probably looking at going down to Brandon, Mississippi. Probably gonna run legs down there. So it'll be in about 3 weeks, I think.
Okay. Anybody else cooking legs? Nope.
No, I got a comp in 2 weeks in Paris, California, and I'm gonna throw some wings at them. Why not? Give them the box and see what happens.
I love it. All right. When are y'all cooking next?
Probably 2 weeks, and I got a comp in 2 weeks in Paris, California.
Paris, California.
Where are you? I'm in Somerville, Tennessee this weekend.
Bill?
I'm not sure yet.
Once all the seed gets in the ground and everything's done.
We're pretty busy right now on the farm, so it kind of.
You got an extra screen in there.
Once everything gets planted, then we'll be back to barbecue.
So we better get our wins in quick.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you what. Once Triple H gets back out there, look out, everybody. Drew,
I think we all got to get him in there before it's just going to be takeover, and now he switches something else, right?
I don't think you have to worry about me anymore. It's Jordan you got to worry about.
Oh, that is on a straight roll.
That's awesome. Drew, when are you cooking again?
South Haven.
All right, go down there with Wes. Is Wes going to be at that one? Make sure you take care. Vince, too, when they say wings, is it just flats? Yes. That is curious. Have y'all ever thought about doing the wings and drum combined? That look?
Yeah, I have, but then it quickly said no because to me, I mentioned earlier, like making it easy for the judges to eat, and to me, that drum, I'll eat it all day, but I don't like the bite on that drum. In competition barbecue, we can only control what we can control. We can't control where that judge bites on that piece of meat, but we can control what we turn in. So to me, that little drumettes can be tough sometimes. You may have some ligaments in there. It may not be a good chew or a good bite. They may get a piece of cartilage. So I want to control that and not give them that possibility of getting that.
Nice. And real quick, Drew, you said they're easy to trim. What is a quick, really easy process of how somebody could go home and practice wings tomorrow? What would be a real quick trim or whatever?
Man, if I'm practicing at home, I'm probably not trimming at all if it's wings. But the only thing I'd tell you to watch out for is sometimes when, depending on the co-packer, they might have a little of that joint of that. I guess it would possibly be the drummy or wherever it's attached to the part of the wing. You might get a part of that extra bone on there. So that's really the only thing I'm taking off. I just want to make sure a judge doesn't take a bite like I eat a wing from the end and have that extra bone come off in their mouth as well.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anybody else got anything else you want to add?
Exactly right.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. So thank you all so much. Thank you all. How can so Drew, you have a product for sale. Smitty, you have products for sale. Real quick, how can people get in touch with you? Just take a few seconds to plug your stuff.
Sure. Go ahead, Drew.
All right. So you can look me up online on Facebook at Razor X Barbecue, Instagram, TikTok. I've got a website that I think is razorxbarbecue.com. You can send me emails through there. You can pick up both my products. I've got a all-day AP rub and an all-day sweet rub. Atlanta Barbecue Store carries both of them, and couple different retail stores throughout the country have them as well. And if you got one close by that you want to see it in, hook me up with their information. I'll try to get it out there.
Awesome. Smitty?
Yeah, Sterling Smith, Loot and Booty Barbecue. You can check me out online at lootandbootybarbecue.com, Facebook, Instagram. My 6 products, my rubs are available across the world at Ace Hardware. It's one of my largest retailers. I got my Jolly Roger Black Rub into Lowe's Hardware nationwide, which is a great supporter. I love supporting a lot of mom and pops and Atlanta barbecue store. Always you can get my products there. I am working with my co-packer right now, Old World Spices, to come out with my 3 sauces, soon to be available for wholesale worldwide. And so that should happen in the next month. So that's a really cool next step that I'm working on. But yeah, check me out at lootandbootybarbecue.com.
Awesome. Bill?
You can find us on Facebook, the easiest, Triple H Barbecue.
Awesome.
Yep, same for us. Smoke Me Silly Barbecue Team on Facebook.
What about Get Off My Damn Lawn? Is that .com? Is that
That sounds like a Wes Garrett comment.
No.
I ignore those. Anytime I
sounds
see
like
Wes
being a
Garrett
patient.
pop up, I ignore that. I have him blocked. I know better.
I can totally hear myself saying that in the future.
Oh man. So it sounds like Mississippi just got to 25 teams. I don't know what's going on with that, but Jordan's going, Brad's going, Wes is going. It's going to be a great time there. So it should be a good time to go down there and have a good time in Mississippi. They're all going to watch the Drew Show or the Drew Invitation or something like that.
Get 'em.
So, guys, thank you all so much. Hope you had a wonderful night watching. Come back next week as we discuss ribs on Chewin the BBQ Fat. Have a great night, everybody. See you next week.